Hey guys, so in this video, you are going to see me go over and start my story on how our family became homeless, our homeless journey. And I do have a book and I'm working on it. I have the book all written up and just need to execute it. And it's called I Lost My Home, but Not My Mind. But guys, I really want you to take the time out to one, subscribe to our channel, two, hit that notification bell, and three, comment and share us out because people need to hear this. There's someone out there who needs to hear this story, and it's my story. And I feel like everyone's been asking me, and I'm finally getting to a place where I can talk about it without crying. I may get teary-eyed, but I'm not going to cry. But I definitely feel like someone needs to hear this because sometimes we go through things and we don't know what to do and we don't know how to manage, and we let ourselves go. And if we're not letting ourselves go intentionally, but the world takes over and there's no one to give us a shoulder to lean on. I didn't have a shoulder to lean on, so I had to stay strong. My children were my shoulders, and that's how I was able to get through. So guys, don't forget, this video is for those of you who are going through and need to hear a story to see if it's similar to yours. And this is the first video, and we're going to talk it all the way through. Hey family, fun by A Crew. It's your busy mom on the go, Nashira, and I am back here with another video, guys. So this morning I went and dropped off one of my kids at camp. My other one couldn't continue camp because the kid got COVID, and you know, if they don't have the shot, then they have to wait 5 days. So anyway, they're just going to reimburse me for this one day. Anywho, so I have the kids in the house. I'm sitting in the car. And never mind this, guys. You know, after my accident in that van, I was without a car for a while. Then I had some money, got this car. And then this is hanging, so I got to get some adhesive or something. I don't know. But anyway, this is my baby for now. My Buick LeSabre. And it's been getting us from point A to B and sometimes C. So this video is going to be a video that I've been getting from my TikTok and even on YouTube, not from many, but everyone wants me to talk about how I became homeless. Now, I've been holding off on this because I just thought that with me posting, you know, all the updates and everything that's going on in the now, that no one would think about what was going on then. So I always wanted to do this, but I do have my days and my days where I really go through a depression mode. And yeah, so I am sitting in the car and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to start this because I don't want to tell people I'm going to do it and then don't. So I don't know how I'm going to really, well, I'll just start and then just let it flow and then pick up where I left off. So January 5th. Let's rewind a little bit. So some of you know and some of you don't know. I had a home-based business. I still have the business itself. I just don't work the business yet, only because I'm still mentally trying to get myself together. And then I still have to buy everything all over again because all my other things are still packed up in storage in Georgia. So, carrying on. Let's see, I had planned for me to have a sipping shop, and I believe the sipping shop was either late November, early November, or early December. Either one. But anyway, it was for the holidays, for the moms to come together and, you know, support small businesses in our area. And so I had put that together, and it turned out wonderful. Now, here we're going to take a pause, and I am going to show you some photos of that day. It turned out wonderful. You'll see the flyer, everything. And let's take a look at these pictures. Let's pause just for 1 second. I had planned for that. Everything was going good. I was on Facebook. If you guys don't follow me on Facebook, you can follow me. I have 2 pages, and one of is Nashira Wilson, and I'll put all the stuff somewhere down here, all the pages and platforms you can follow us on. And then we also have a Family Fun by 8 channel, and mind you, I had no clue that I was getting ready to receive a letter in the mail. So October 5th, I get a letter in the mail from the landlord. And the landlord with housing, I had a housing voucher, housing worker. My landlord was supposed to fix everything in the house by a certain date. So he had two pages of things that he was supposed to have done, and if he didn't get it done by by August 30th, his payments will be cut off September 1st or September 5th, something of that nature. Well, those things didn't get done. They called me, and I'm like, no, he didn't attach the stairs to the house, he just pushed it. No, he didn't do this, he just whatever. He was one of those fixer-uppers. Him and his dad just came, fixed it up, and just made things worse. So they stopped his payment. Well, in the mail, I received a phone. Before the mail, I received a phone call asking me, can I pay $3,000 and something. Now, at that time, my income was kind of good. I probably could have swindled and dwindled and came up with that extra $500 to make that payment of $3,100. But nope, because if you're not doing what housing tell you to do, you're sure not going to do it for me. And if housing's not paying you, I'm not either. Okay. So October 5th, I get a letter in the mail saying that if I don't pay, then I have to move. I have 90 days to move. So that was the worst shit ever. Kidding me. And so I'm just like, it is what it is. But at the same time, I'm thinking he's just calling bluff. That's what I thought he was doing. So I never did make the payment, and I carried on with my party and everything, and it turned out wonderful. It turned out wonderful. And but at the same time, during the party, I was thinking about it. After the party, I was thinking about it because I'm like, okay, the party is over. There's nothing fun going on except for Christmas. And then right after Christmas, it's like it's going to be time to move out, because they gave me a date. January 5th was the date. Anyway, on the way, though, I'm feeling so empty inside, because I'm like, what if I really do have to move out? Because I had psyched myself out to believe that this was just a joke. He was just doing that to intimidate me or push me to pay, and he'll let me stay. And I'm like, but no, if housing isn't paying him, I'm not either. And so January 5th comes, and we're still packing up. I mean, I had accumulated so much stuff. You never know how much you have until it's time to move. But anyway, we're packing things up, and I'm sending the kids to school. I sent the kids to school, and the kids' dad and I, we were packing that house up. And in my mind, I had really, really psyched myself out to believe that he was gonna call and say, just kidding, you're on Canon camera, we're gonna let you in the house. But it had mentally started affecting me. And then I got to a point later that day, the kids come home, and I'm just like, I'm breaking down inside without trying to break down on the outside. And I started looking at the situation like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And at that time, I thought it was going to be hard finding a place. This time, oh my gosh, it was hard that time. I mean, it felt like no one was finding a place. Not just me. It was a lot of my friends, or even just hearing through the grapevine that people were having a hard time finding a place. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? So I even transferred. Okay. Hold on. So 5 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, you know what? This man haven't called. This man have really not called, and he gives not one care. He doesn't care. He's at home with his wife and kids, sleeping beautiful, and he does not care. I had been renting the house out for 8 years. No problems on my end. Him. And I got comfortable. I I told myself this is where I'm going to raise my kids. My kids are going to go to one school. Me growing up, I went to several schools, and I didn't like that moving around. And so I was liking the fact that my children would be at one school from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade. And that's what I wanted for my children. Well, that's not what ended up happening. So so I end up saying, you know what, it is what it is, and Charlie, you got to get out of here. There's no looking back. There's no nothing with the landlord, because if he cared, he would have called you and said something by now. And so I cried. And I remember that first night we stayed at a hotel, I believe. Hotel. I believe so. And that hurt me so bad because I wasn't prepared. I mean, I knew I had to move, but I wasn't prepared. I mentally was not prepared. I had made myself believe that man really was going to call me. I mean, I'm psyched my own self out. Even while taking the things to the storage, I psyched my own self out. That's how mentally it had gotten to me. And I wrote a book called I Lost My Home, But Not My Mind. But over time, I can say that I kind of did dwindle down the drain. I really did. It didn't affect me right away, like mentally, that I went down, I'm going to say, a little rabbit hole. But I really did. I ended up going down the rabbit hole. So now here it is, a few days within moving out of the house, and the caseworker gives you a certain amount of time to find a place, and I'm just all over the place. Like, I'm really all over the place. I still take the kids to school. I ride around. I'm just like angry, sitting in the car, just driving. My heart is racing, my brain is racing. I'm driving and don't know what to do. And then finally said, Nashara, you got to go start putting in applications. You got to start asking for applications. But there was no applications to ask for. People were not having open homes for rent like they were kind of like now. I mean, it's still kind of up and down, but at that point it was so hard. So in order for me to feel good, in order for me to feel like how I used to, I start asking my brother's girlfriend at the time. She was working for the Marriott. She was working for, the Hilton, I believe. I can remember. But I think it was the Hilton or the Marriott, whoever Aloft is with. So she would let us use her discount, and we were staying there for like $35-$40, depending on how far in advance we would book the room. But we would use her discount, and that was making me feel good. But I was still on go, like my mind was going 100 miles per hour, and my body was just doing the regular schmegular movement. And when I tell you, that was the worst thing ever. That was the worst thing ever. It was fun for the kids, but for me, I felt like I had let my children down, let my family down, like I was going to be the worst parent ever. I just lost. I felt like I was going to lose control, and to be honest, I ended up losing control. So, moving forward, over time, those rooms started getting a little expensive. I had some money set down for a rainy day, but that started dwindling down the drain. And so I was door dashing at the time, so I was making it work. But over time, it was too much. So my brother told me him and his girlfriend had an apartment separately, but he was staying with her. So he was like, why don't you come down to Fresno and stay in my apartment? And so we did. So eventually within that time frame, I don't know if I got pregnant right before going to Fresno or once we got to Fresno. I don't know that part. But somewhere in the midst of first getting to Fresno, I got pregnant somewhere within there. And I didn't know it. And so I was just tired. It just felt like I was giving up, but I didn't realize I was pregnant. So it just felt like I was just like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? And there was a decision I had to make. And I was like, you know what? The other children are going to go through this, wherever this is going to lead us to. I'm having my baby, and the baby just going to be right there with us. And so it felt good being at my brother's place. But this was months down the line. And I remember a friend from elementary, she's an associate, but a friend at once upon a time, which is now an associate, I remember her calling me to ask me to bring the kids to come stay at her place. Now, before the moving out took place, someone had called child welfare, and I feel like it was the associate. And I had just had a baby, so let me pause for a second, because every time I have a baby, not every time, but once I had, starting from one of the kids, I had postpartum depression. And I never took the time to really see that after I have a child, that my postpartum depression is awful. So I had just had one of the kids and my postpartum depression was awful, but I wanted the associate to come. She was doing something between her and my brother. Anyway, and then she works at a hospital, and she works with people who are in like the crazy hospital. And I wanted her to see one of my sons, Bryce. I wanted her to see if he had autism, because I felt like he had a mild case of autism, which now we found out through school he does. So, but I was just explaining to her how I was feeling, and anyway, so child welfare came out doing a welfare check or whatever. So that was before moving. Now we moved and everything. So she had asked me to come stay at her place, and I turned it down at first. I said no. Okay, so time going on. I pack up and we moved to Fresno, and kids are loving it. Now it's summertime. It's the summertime, and things for me was like, oh yes, I can lay down for however long I want to. I don't have to go DoorDash every second of the day just to make it easy. Like I can sit down and woosah. Like I can breathe. Like it was, I mean, I couldn't breathe, but I can breathe. Like I had a sense of not feeling like I had to be on a rush and go. So while down there in Fresno, I switched my voucher there to in hopes to find a place. Now I did go look at a couple of places, and I was calling a couple of places, but when I look back on it, people were asking me, well, did you go look at a place? Did you call? Did you do this? And I was saying yes. But when I look back on it, I really was not. So this is where I know I mentally went down. This is where I know I mentally down, because I didn't put forth the effort like I know I could prior to this situation. But that had broke me. That had broke me so deep that I didn't even know I was broken that deep. That affected me so hard that I thought that I was really putting in the work, and I really was not. That affected me so mentally that I was saying, yes, I was doing those things when I really was not. And that's why when you hear people or see people who are down and out and need somebody to talk to, let them talk to you, because you can help them. And now I understand why people, I didn't get to that place, but now I understand why people kill themselves. People are hurting inside. and no one checks on it from the beginning. That's why I choose to stay home. That's why I watch my kids as much as I do. I'm not hovering over them, but I know my children. I would definitely see hurt and be able to fix it or check up on it or do whatever it is that I need to do, because when I tell you, no one will be there for you in your most worst times. No one. You will have to be there, strong back, stand tall, and through it all, because no one, and I mean no one, will be there for you.